We are going to start it off with our wonderful guest speakers, starting with George Nolan.
Well, hello, everybody. Screw him. He'll be back anyway. That's what you hear throughout prisons. I've said it myself while I was incarcerated. Screw him. He'll be back anyway. That statement right there, when an officer or staff or somebody involved in the criminal justice system says that to me, people don't realize it has nothing to do with me. You're not saying, screw me, I'll be back anyway, because I don't get magically transported back to prison. That's not how it works. What has to happen first? I have to offend. I have to harm another community member, whether it's stealing a car, selling drugs, doing whatever that is. So you're not saying screw me. You're saying screw that community. Screw the people that are out there. And that's something I talk about. I have an absolute privilege where I get to go train in DOC staff and interact with correctional officers. And that's something I get to talk to them about all the time. And something that happens at these trainings, because I like to stir the pot a little bit, I get in front of these officers and I'm like, hey man, who's super excited to hear from a formerly incarcerated guy? 40 people in the room, 3 maybe raise their hands. Thank you for your honesty. If they had a different attitude, I wouldn't have to be there in the first place. We wouldn't have to do that. When we talk about rehabilitation and we talk about compassion, when we talk about community safety, things have to change. I don't know how many years of it there is, but there is a ton of empirical data that shows that punitive, lock them in a box. I heard a state legislator say it just the other day. Oh, if it was up to me, I'd lock them in a room for 10 years, throw away the key. Well, what happens when that 10 years is over? Whose neighbor is he going to be? It's going to be somebody's neighbor. So again, you're not saying screw that guy. You're saying screw that guy's neighbor. We have to change the way we think about it. We have to reframe that. We have to look at things differently. On the flip side of it, that rehabilitation, again, really doesn't have anything to do with me. Yeah, I'll probably live a better life. That's great. But I'm not going to harm anybody. My grandkids now got a grandkid back. My mom's got a son back. My brother's got a brother back, and so on, because some correctional staff took some time to talk with me. DOC has come up with new programs lately. I don't know what you know about the new programming that's out, but they have a recovery and substance abuse treatment center. They have the Second Chance program. My girlfriend works down there at DES. They're doing a lot of things. They're also looking at things very differently. I don't know how familiar everybody is with the correctional system, but it was almost impossible to get back in. They let me back in the day after I got out. I've been returning to prisons every single day. I've had maybe 3 Friday nights to myself in the past year and a half that I've been out. And I was just talking about it in the back of the room at these Second Chance centers. I met my mortgage broker there. I was able to buy a house 8 months out of prison. You know how many people told me I couldn't buy a house? Everybody I asked, except this mortgage broker that I met in a prison, because she knew what it actually meant to work with someone like me and get me through that kind of situation. And for, you guys seen my convicted felon t-shirt thing up there earlier, right? Well, that's a real thing. And people, you look at addiction, you look at the way we used to live, something that I can say, I can't really throw a blanket over DOC and say this is for everybody, but in a lot of cases, but in this case, I actually can. We don't go to prison for average behavior. That's not why we go to prison. We go to prison for extreme behaviors. Usually our goals are trash, but our behaviors are pretty great. I was leaving a gym a few months after I was released from prison, and this young man walked by my car who I knew from prison. I made a colorful statement when I saw him because I was like, oh man, I could see he was suffering. And he's like, hey brother, it's not as bad as you think. I got a nice suit on today and everything else, but when I tell you, not in this room probably, in this room I can guarantee it, but in the prison rooms where I work in there, I'm the biggest dope fiend in that room. I had a needle in my arm. I used to stand in line to use a dirty needle in prison. My addiction had all of me, and then a little bit extra on top of that. So when he said to me, it's not as bad as you think, I told him, I said, man, I don't think anything. I've been there, I get it. But if you want to go to detox, you can hop in my car and I'll take you. And he said, nah, I just need some money for a bus so I can go to work. I was like, man, I know you ain't got a job, dude. So we had that conversation. He refused to get in the vehicle, and he went about his business. He told me during that conversation that he had everything he owned in a bag over his shoulder. You guys think he got high that day? He absolutely did, right? So imagine somebody who's willing to live outside of a building, carry everything they own in a bag over their shoulder, and walk across Phoenix in 110-degree heat to get to a meaningful goal. You can't stop that person. You absolutely can't stop that person. When we turn the corner, people that have lived the lives we've had, and when we take those, repurpose those behaviors for something that's meaningful, man, the world gets out of our way. It absolutely gets out of our way. And I used to say, I just need someone to believe in me. I just need someone to give me a chance. I can tell you confidently now, I don't need that. I need to believe in me. I need to create a chance. I need to find these opportunities. It's great that I have people in my life who support that, because that's the only people I'll tolerate in my life at this point. But getting someone to that level where they can believe in themselves and they think they can do it, that's the hard part. I work for a huge reentry organization here in town, and I was doing a tour with a guy named Jeff Kornacek. He wrote a book called Untapped Talent, and he's not in this business. He's a chief economist for Fifth Third Bank. The data doesn't lie. He sees the depleting labor force, and he also sees the amount of people that are excluded from that labor force. He's like, this doesn't make sense. So now he's involved. And he asked the guy on that tour, he said, what's been the hardest thing for you, man? What's been your biggest challenge here? And that's exactly what his answer was. Learning to believe that I can do it. Getting people over that initial hump, right? That's what we're here for. Callie talked about it earlier. When you're locked in those conditions, in the rap songs, they talk about all the cool stuff in prison. What they don't talk about is standing in your own feces and water for 3 days. You don't hear that in a rap song. But that happens. Toilets flood. People get locked in. I literally just took a volunteer with me. This is 100% a true story. To prison a few weeks ago, to the Maury unit. Anybody who's familiar with Arizona prisons, it's the most dangerous unit in Arizona. It's got 2 times the violence of its second runner-up. And I brought a community volunteer there with me. And she went into the staff bathroom, flushed the toilet, and it exploded all over her. Yeah. And you know what she did? She brushed herself off. We went into that visitation, and we taught all of the races that are in there, which is a big deal in prison because it's highly segregated, country line dancing for 2 hours. Right? But she was able to go home that day and take a shower. The other guys, that when you live in there, you don't really have that opportunity. And I love these type of events, right? And I love talking about awareness, and I love bringing things to people's attention and to having meaningful conversations. And that's all great, and it's good, and we get to eat some really, really good food. But what do we want out of tonight? I know what I want out of tonight. I want action. I want people to show up. I want people to stop saying I care and start saying, how can I help? How can I be a part of this? If it's important to you. If it's not, probably in the wrong room, but we'll get through it pretty quick. So we talk about calls to action. What could we do as a community? What are things we could do? And I was talking with my girlfriend about it on the way over here. Tools, boots, work clothes, stuff like that. A lot of funding's gone away. If you're in a position where you can donate that and provide it, whether it's to an employer who provides fair chance employment opportunities, whether it's to someone like Eldra who's opening a home and helping people get to work, whether it's to an organization like this, whatever that looks like, even if it's $5 worth of clothes, some socks, whatever, something from everybody. The other thing is, I don't know what you guys know about the state of the Arizona Department of Corrections. Obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement, but we have a director right now, and those doors are wide open. They're wide open. I've heard him say in public, if you got a crazy idea, bring it to me all the time. And he pointed at me and my friend Chris, and he goes, these guys do it all the time. Go into the prisons, see what it's like, have those conversations. Everybody in this room can do something, even if it's writing a letter. Even if it's writing a letter. When you leave here tonight, don't leave here just with the awareness of what's going on. Don't leave here with wow, I didn't know that was going on. Leave here with a plan to take some kind of action, to do something, not just for yourself, something you believe in, but something that's going to help better this process. Children need their parents back. They need mom home. They need dad home. Things are a lot better, guys, getting a lot better, but we can also do better. And I hope you all get to do that together. Thank you.